what to grow in November? Are you overwhelmed by all the possibilities that you're reading about or seeing online? Or maybe it's the opposite. Do you think that there's nothing that can be grown at this time of year? Well, I've got edibles, I've got flowers, so stick around for my hand-picked list of just 5 great things to grow right now. Hey everyone, how's it going? And welcome back. It is great to have variety in the garden, but equally, you don't want to be growing loads and loads of different things, and then sometimes it can be difficult to know exactly what to grow. So that's where these episodes come in. As the months go by, I'm going to help you build your own collection of brilliant, easy to grow plants that are going to give you, well, a little bit of something of everything: colour, scent, and food. Alright, so let's kick off this month's recommendations with a brilliant plant that I've got in this little paper bag that adds so much flavour into your cooking, and it's really easy to grow. It's garlic, and it's easy because rather than having to even start something from seed, you can just go out, buy the cloves, stick them straight in the ground, and come early summer next year, you're going to have a great crop of something brilliant. Now, garlic thrives when it's planted in late autumn because it allows the bulbs to establish roots before winter. They're going to sit fairly dormant and then they're going to kick off in the spring. So select a nice sunny, well-drained spot, break each bulb into individual cloves like I've already done, and plant them pointy side up. The bigger the bulb, the further apart you want to space them, and the deeper you want to plant them so they form nice, well-developed heads. So, like I said, throughout the winter, the garlic needs minimal care because it's not going to be doing much. And then by the spring, as the weather warms, the garlic's going to kick into growth. But why grow it? Well, not only is it fresher and chemical-free, but it opens up options for unique plantings of heirloom varieties and things that you won't find in the supermarkets. This year, I'm going with this elephant garlic. Look how large the cloves are. They're massive. But at the same time, they're really mild. So pick a couple of garlic varieties that take your fancy and give them a go. Don't worry about getting your pen and paper out to note down all of the specific plants that I'm recommending in today's video. Instead, make it easy for yourself. Head across to my website, niallgardens.com, or follow the link in the description below for my episode notes. Here in the Guild Garden, things are dying back, and I want to clear up some of it, as you can see, and it's going to be a big job. But let's talk about the next plant, from one type of allium to another, because we've just talked about garlic. If you know me, you'll know by now that I have a bit of a weak spot for bulbs. I made an entire what to grow video about them last month. So okay, I have a big weak spot for bulbs, but for me, they allow you to grow something special with that extra bit of certainty that they're going to work compared to growing something from seed or cuttings. But look beyond daffodils, look beyond the tulips, and there are some real oddities that are just so worth trying, and this is one of them. Now, wait for it, because I always say the name wrong. This is Allium Nectaroscordum. Think you know what an allium looks like? Think again. Check this out. When it's in flower, it looks like a kind of droopy firework in the best way possible. In late spring to early summer, it produces tall, graceful stems that are topped with clusters of pendulous, bell-shaped flowers in shades of pink, cream and green. It's relatively tall, about 80 centimetres high, so it's going to have impact. But beyond its looks, one of the reasons that I love Allium Nectaroscordum is its ability to attract pollinators, especially bees, which makes it a really valuable plant for supporting local wildlife in your garden. That's because it's particularly nectar-rich, so it's a really valuable food source. So it's not just beautiful, it gives back to nature. It does best in well-drained soil and full sun to partial shade, but it's a low-maintenance plant. It naturalises easily, slowly forming clumps that return year after year, so it's properly perennial. So if you're looking for something striking, ornamental, that's got lots of presence, that's going to give something that pollinators love, this allium is an excellent choice for your garden. Now that the garden is slowing down, it's a great time to start taking stock and planning, and an incredible tool for that is this little device. This is the Moasure 2 Pro, a revolutionary motion-based measuring tool, and I've got a discount code for you also. Today, I want to dive a little bit deeper because it doesn't just measure lines and dimensions. Wait until you see this. First up, 3D measurements. It accurately captures both horizontal and vertical distances that gives me a complete picture of my garden's layout in 3D. But say you want to know how much topsoil you need for raised beds like these here in the Guild Garden. Use the Moasure to measure the distance and length of each raised bed, and it automatically then calculates the volume as you select the depth up and down in the app, just like that. Moasure doesn't just help you measure and plan, it helps you set things out using layout mode. You can input specific coordinates, and the Moasure 2 Pro will then guide you to exactly the right spot. So you can make a garden plan, then use layout mode to place the plants, the trees, the elements perfectly. To find out more or to get a Moasure 2 Pro for yourself, check out the link in the description down below. Moasure have kindly provided me with a discount code that I can pass on to you. So when you go to purchase, make sure to include the discount code X8Niall. I recommended sowing and growing broad beans way back this spring. But guess what I'm going to recommend again? No, not because I'm running out of ideas, but because I really do think that growing broad beans are one of the easiest, high-powered, abundant and tasty things that you can grow at home. Now, much like garlic, because broad beans are nice, hardy plants, you can get them started now in the autumn. They'll slowly grow over the winter, but then will kick into life properly in the spring. And because you get that little bit of a head start, you get a nice early harvest in late spring to early summer. For late autumn sowings, make sure to pick a particularly hardy variety like this. This is Super Aquadulce, or you can get Aquadulce. Then you can either sow them into small pots to plant out in a few weeks, or sow the beans straight into the ground. Now, I personally prefer using small pots to get them started because the seeds, well, here they invariably get snaffled by animals, or the baby seedlings get picked off by birds, and then you're left with gaps. Having slightly larger plants that you've started from in pots are just so much less likely to succumb. Much like anything grown at home, there's just something so rewarding about picking loads of fresh broad bean pods. The taste really is unmatched compared to what you can buy. Plus, anything you can't eat straight away can simply be quickly blanched in some boiling water and then frozen for later. Even just a few plants, say 10 or 12, are going to give you a great little harvest. So give them a try if you haven't already. Hey everyone, a really quick one from me. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell. It really helps to support the channel and it lets you know when new videos are coming out. Right, back to the plants. Every month I like to suggest something that I call an investment piece, something to go out and treat yourself to that might cost a little bit more than a packet of seed, but equally is something that's going to give you years of dedicated service. And this month, it's this thing. This is a Mahonia, and we've got a huge one in the garden. For me, a great shrub needs to tick 3 boxes. It has to look good from a distance, it has to look great close up, and it must have some kind of all year round interest. Otherwise, it's just going to look like a big green lump in the garden. And Mahonia has all of that covered and more. Check out the leaves. They're really strong, thick, kind of waxy and spiny, a bit like a holly leaf. But you can see from the leaf arrangement that it's different. The shrub's evergreen, and these tough leaves stand out no matter what time of the year it is. Look a little bit closer at the main branches and you'll see just how rough textured the bark is, again giving you that bit more interest. Most Mahonias, like this one, have bright acid yellow flowers in the autumn, which is why I'm recommending it now. But what's great is rather than them flowering in summer, they do just that. They flower in the autumn and through into the winter. That strong yellow really shines out during the winter when colour can be, well, somewhat limited. Once the flowers pass, they're replaced by berries that are lovely purpley black. This specific one is Winter Sun, and you can see it can get really quite large, but equally you can hack it back really hard and keep the form smaller without worrying that it's going to take over your garden. In fact, this one is drastically going to get reduced come late winter and early spring. If you're looking for a standout, tough shrub with a little bit of everything, consider a Mahonia. Here's an interesting one for you. Perpetual spinach. It's an excellent choice for gardeners that are looking for a reliable leafy green from seed. But despite its name, perpetual spinach isn't actually a true spinach. In fact, it's actually a chard, or it's also known as spinach beet or leaf beet. Its resemblance to spinach comes from those nice, tender, mild flavoured leaves, which are perfect for use in salads, stir-fries or sautéed. Unlike regular spinach though, perpetual spinach is much more heat tolerant and less prone to bolting, so it makes a great option for gardeners in warmer climates or those looking for a longer harvest period. It's also nice and tough. So when sown from seed, perpetual spinach establishes nice and quickly. The seedlings often end up maturing into proper plants that you can harvest in as little as 6 to 8 weeks. It's cut and come again, so it means that you can harvest the outer leaves regularly while allowing the plant to continue producing fresh growth. This makes it a really valuable addition, well, to both small gardens and larger vegetable patches. Only just a few plants are going to provide you with a nice continuous supply of leafy greens throughout the growing season. They'll even get you through a nice mild winter. That works perfectly for somewhere like here in Ireland. Another advantage is quite how resilient it is. It's more tolerant to poor soils and varying conditions compared to a regular spinach. It's also more resistant to pests and diseases, so it's ideal if you're into organic gardening. With its ability to thrive in different conditions and produce over a nice long period, perpetual spinach is a really versatile, productive and easy to grow leafy green that's so well worth including in your garden. Sowing and planting times do vary from region to region, so please remember to look up and understand your own local growing conditions and your last frost date. Now, last month's suggestions from me in this video are still great because bulb planting is still in full swing, and next month's video is perfect if you want to start thinking ahead and getting a head start. And until next time, see you later.